Welcome to episode 1 of Joe Shorts. Today, we're going to be specifically looking at the Warhammer by Breek Arms. So, if you're anything like me, you've seen them for sale a whole bunch, but never really picked one up because you couldn't justify the price. Or at least that's where I stood until today. So if you're anything like me, spending $70-ish on a charging handle is a little steep. Because of this, I've never owned a Breek Arms Warhammer until today. As you can see, there are 3 of them sitting here. I bought them with my own personal funds. I found them on sale. I've always wanted to try them out, and Welsh convinced me to do a video on what I thought about them so I can inform anybody else that is curious. So let's clear the way and let's just get right into it. So I found you can find them on sale now anywhere from $35 to $45. They're linked in the description. At the time of shooting this, I found them on sale just yesterday for $45 from Brownells. So $45 seemed more like a reasonable price in my opinion for kind of an enhanced and better quality charging handle. But before we talk about this and the price and if it's worth it, we kind of have to compare it to what's out there. So this is kind of the cheaper option that you can go. This is a typical mil-spec charging handle. Now this charging handle, tried and true, kind of no frills, just a single side latch, single side actuation to unlock it from the receiver. You can pick these up normally for $10 to $15, so we'll call it $15, and that will be our baseline right here. Now I know that there are a million different types of charging handle. I can't go over all of them, so I'm just going over the main 3 types that I see pretty common. So this is a single latch, single side actuation or unlocking feature. Next we're going to look at the Strike Industries. So this is kind of a different concept. It uses these 2 metal prongs to kind of hold it into the receiver. So this is called their latchless charging handle. There is no latch, so this is either side actuation because all you have to do is pull on it. Now at the time of filming this, I'm not saying that you can't get these on sale, but at the time of filming this I just looked it up on Primary Arms. This charging handle was $35. So with that base price, $15 for your standard, $35 for the Strike Industries. That's where the Warhammer falls into place, at the top of those 3 specifically. Now, like I said, with the Warhammer from Breek Arms, at the time of filming this, I did see a sale on Brownells for $45. There's a link in the comments if you want to click on that and see if they're still on sale. But anyway, let's keep going. So there are other options. I'll show you the option in that firearm right now. They're kind of my testbed firearm. If you haven't followed, you can see there's a Daniel Defense stock on it. There's the tack-on trigger in it. This is kind of just my test bed, the Romeo 7, where I test stuff before it goes on to a rifle that I'm going to keep for a specific purpose. So let's pull the charging handle out of this and see what was in my test bed before introducing the Warhammer to this situation. So enter, this is supposed to be kind of like the Raptor charging handle. It's just a generic, no-name brand, cheap bought. And I had somebody custom put in our thin line defense, etch it into there. But as you can see, one of the ears is extremely bent, and that's part of the problem with going super cheap. I think instead of buying an actual Raptor, I think this cost me maybe 20 bucks. It does function, but this bend wasn't from anything crazy. This was being put in a bag with an additional rifle. Just rested up against it, and it got bent. And that's one of the problems that I run into because I'm always looking for deal, always looking for the cheaper option. I do run into things like this where when I'm testing them out, they do bend or deform. And that's not really good for a rifle that I want for battle ready per se. If it's just a range queen, sure, it'll work. But not something that I want in my battle ready guns. So let's take a closer look at the Warhammer and see if it'll solve some of the issue. The first issue that you see right now with the cheap handle, and it's extremely thin with a wide gap in between here, that led to this bending. The Warhammer is very different from that. So it has small holes and it's a lot thicker on the outsides, which I think will hold up a lot better. So right here we got a good spread. We got $15, $20, $35, and I mean, you got to get them on sale, but anywhere right around, we'll call it, if you find a good sale, $40 to $50. So we have a good spread of difference of price. So now I'm going to start eliminating something based off of my criteria, solely my criteria. Yours may change on what I need this charging handle for. So this one's going to be out right away because it bent under, you know, very light use circumstances. So that went gone, not going back in the weapon. This is still in my arsenal only because I haven't been hitting the nose. If this starts hanging up on the charging handle, don't really know how it would do that, but people have said it does. If it starts doing that, then it'll be gone, but for right now, it's with us. The typical mil-spec one, I'm going to say gone for me because I like the ambidextrous. I like being able to charge it from any side of the gun just in case something happened with one hand or, you know, blah, blah, blah. I like having the ability to charge it from either side of the firearm. So that leaves us with these two. They are both two that you can look out for on sale and see which one you like the best. Now with that being said, this video about the Warhammer, so let's get rid of that and let's talk about the Warhammer specifically. Alright, so when we're taking a look, we can see that either side, pulling on either side, actuates the lock. That's what makes it ambidextrous. But I have from a good source, well, I can't really say good source, a mediocre source named Walsh, that left-handed people may not like the charging handle because it specifically ports the gas to the right side of the firearm. And pulling only on this side, it gouged his upper receiver. So with that, I don't know about the gassing. As you can see, it is designed a little bit different on the bottom where there's a notch taken out of here, which is towards the right-hand side of the firearm. And also on top, there's a specific channel towards the right side. So I would say that Walsh has something to talk about on that. Now, pulling on either side of the ear, you can tell that this side is a little bit stiffer than the right side. So I can also see that there's some merit behind what Walsh is saying, that it gouges the firearm, the upper receiver, but that's kind of going to happen with any charging handle that locks into your firearm, because not only will it gouge it coming out if you don't fully dislodge the lock or unlock the lock, but also when it's going back in to its spot, you're not holding that back and then putting the bolt forward. You're sending the bolt forward, which makes this hit the upper receiver. So with all that being said, why this interests me? Number one, I do like the ambidextrous. Number two, I'm right-handed, so all that left-handed stuff doesn't mean diddly for me. Then the most important, the only charging handle that I've ever had an issue with is this one sitting right here. And I've had 15 of these and I've never had an issue. But as you can see, the hole in this is pretty wide and the ears are pretty thin metal-wise. And I think that's what caused it to bend. This Breek Arms Warhammer doesn't have either of those issues. So the holes in this, you know, weight reduction, whatever you want to call them, whatever reason they're there for, they're smaller holes, and then the metal around it, the aluminum around it, definitely thicker. I don't think I'll have that problem. So yeah, I don't know how much more I can talk about a charging handle, but if you're in the market and you've ever wondered about the Warhammer, I just based off of looking at it and holding it in my hands, I think it's a valuable option for some of my firearms. Now, with that being said, the entire basis of our channel is centered around that our opinions really don't mean anything, and it's a collective opinion that mean everything. So if you have experience with this charging handle specifically, please put it down in the comments, so anybody that's wondering if $40 worth their money for a charging handle can go into the comments and see if people have had good things to say about it or bad things to say about it. I do have to say that it looks really cool inside the firearm. I do like the looks and the aesthetics of it. So let's cycle it a couple times and see what it does. So before I cycle it, I do want to point out that there is a little bit of marring and scratching on my upper receiver from different latches. It's just something that happened. I'll show you why. So this is why. Normally, when you cycle a rifle, you pull it back and you let it go. And what that just did in slow motion, this latch was downwards and it forced itself over top of that. That's going to create marring and scratching no matter what charging handle you use, as long as it's an actual locking latch charging handle. So I'm going to do that as awkward as possible to see if it will even work. This is from the left side. This is from the right side of the firearm. And that actually unlatching really, really well. That's actually kind of surprising. Try to get an additional view. Yeah, it unlocks really well. So there you have it. It latches, it cycles the bolt, and it looks like it could be robust and take some punishment. I don't know what else you would want in a charging handle, but that's all I want in a charging handle, and it seems like it does that very well. Yeah, I think this is going to be my go-to as long as I can find it on sale. Oh, I forgot to mention, it is made in America. So that's going to be my go-to as long as I can find it for a good deal. I don't think I'll ever pay $70 for a charging handle, but I can eat my words. So if you've been around the channel for a while, you can probably figure out that I'm trying something new with the video. So instead of focusing on big, drawn-out videos, I wanted to highlight something that normally somebody wouldn't make a video about. But people might be curious about. So not only do I want you to tell me in the comments if you use the Warhammer and if you like it or dislike it, but I also, if you're willing to and if you've lasted this long to the video, please let us know what you thought about that video. More information, less information, too long, don't care, or it was great for you. Thanks very much, and we'll catch you on the next video.